Hello everyone. We are going to start with the forensic audit session immediately. So I request everyone to be seated.
Hello everyone. We would like to invite our paper presenters on the stage, Mr. Hussain Boriawala, Mr. Rutvik Kitur, and Mr. Ayush Gupta on the dais, please.
Good afternoon, friends. The organizers are conscious that you are awaiting delicious lunch. However, these paper writers have some more interesting facts to put before you in the arena of forensic audit. And we are really lucky to have with us, in the form of a personality chairing this session, is CA Sanjeev Singhal. He is expert in accounting standards. He is heading the committee relating to standards on auditing and the sustainability standards reporting standards board. 3 years ago, ICAI was not having anything relating to sustainability, but the council thought that yes, sustainability is going to be the buzzword in coming years, and let us gear up chartered accountants and CA students to understand what is sustainability and to report on it. And you must have heard of triple bottom line. So the two things, apart from profit, people and planet, that has to do with sustainability reporting standards board. After he assumed the chairmanship, the ICAI is being recognized as one of the greatest agency in contributing in that particular behalf. Also, we will be having the social stock exchange, wherein the charitable and really other institutions would be operating, and this social stock exchange, the entire rules, regulations were framed by the ICAI, and within ICAI, it was Sanjeev Singhal who has drafted all these things. So he is very innovative, and we are very lucky to have him. Thank you, Sanjeev bhai, for accepting our invitation and chairing this session. Now, let us start with the presentations. Over to you.
I would now like to introduce our first paper presenter, Mr. Hussain Boriawala. He is a CA final student and is currently pursuing his articleship from Golecha Gupta and Associates. He has keen interest in the field of forensic audit. His topic for today's paper presentation is Relevance of Forensic Audit in the Current Scenario.
Hello. I would like to start off this session with a quote from world-renowned space scientist and former President of India, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He once stated that chartered accountants are partners in nation building, and one of the most essential prerequisites for a successful and healthy nation is the prevention and detection of corruption, frauds, and other such malpractices. As per RBI data, India has lost over 2.5 lakh crores over the last 7 years to fraud. That is over 100 crore rupees every day. To put that into perspective for you, that is equivalent to 11 kilometers of highway being built every day. Or for my Pune friends out here, over 5 crore vada paos. So how do we stop this problem? Well, that's where the role of forensic audit comes into play. Good morning, my name is Hussain, and today I'm pleased to present to you this topic on the relevance of forensic audit in current scenario. Firstly, what exactly is forensic audit and how is it different from statutory audit? Forensic audit can be defined as an analysis and review of financial information of a company or person to extract facts which can be used in a court of law. It deals with situations such as asset misappropriation, financial statement fraud, corruption, extortion, conflicts of interest, etc. Now, how it differs from statutory audit is that a statutory audit is carried out with the aim to obtain reasonable assurance as to whether the financial statements are true and fair, whereas a forensic audit is conducted to extract evidences which will be used in a court of law to determine whether fraud has actually taken place. A statutory audit is carried out at regular intervals, but a forensic audit is only carried out when there's an existing suspicion of illegal activity taking place. It relates directly to an issue raised by the audit client. It is not feasible to carry out forensic audit regularly as it is a very time-consuming process and there's a lot of detail and checking work involved. The duties of a forensic auditor include obtaining evidences, which is used in a court of law to determine whether fraud has actually taken place, to identify the perpetrators of the fraud, and to quantify the amount involved in the fraud. In today's day and age, with an increase in security measures and regulatory compliances, the perpetrators have been forced to evolve the level of sophistication involved in their schemes. Now we'll go through a few cases and discuss their modus operandi. Firstly, if you have read the news recently, you would have heard about FTX. FTX was one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange platforms, allowing its users to trade cryptocurrency in the market freely. It was valued at about $32 billion and owned about 130 entities across the world in every area of the crypto industry. Due to the laws regarding cryptocurrency still vague and in the early stages, the founder of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, was able to abuse this power, and he diverted the customer fund deposits to a sister company, where these were used for trading and personal purposes. The assets in FTX's balance sheet majorly consisted of a token known as FTT. FTT was a cryptocurrency created by the owner himself, and he had attributed a false and grossly exaggerated value to that, thus showing the financial position as much more favorable than it actually was. On 11th November 2022, FTX filed for bankruptcy, and reportedly they still owe an amount of $9 billion to its creditors. Next, let's talk about ABG Shipyards. ABG Shipyard was one of India's most prominent shipbuilding companies, based in Surat. After the 2008 financial crisis, they took out loan from a consortium of 28 banks amounting to rupees 23,000 crores. In the following years, they incurred huge losses and eventually defaulted on these loans. In a forensic audit conducted by Ernst & Young, it was found that ABG Shipyards had used 16 shell companies to divert the funds to over 98 sister companies and also used it for creating personal assets. Next, let's talk about this man. Does anyone know who this man is? Obviously, it's Nirav Modi. Nirav Modi defrauded Punjab National Bank of an amount of 11,000 crore. He did this by colluding with two bank officials and taking advantage of a shortcoming in the SWIFT system. The SWIFT system is a secure way of telecommunication for interbank communication. Basically, it's like a WhatsApp for banks. Generally, the SWIFT system is synced with the bank's core banking software. However, in this case, this prevents the bank from sending out any communications that have not already been entered in the core banking software. However, in the case of Punjab National Bank, this syncing had not yet been carried out. In a forensic audit conducted by BDO, it was discovered that over 1,200 letters of undertaking had been fraudulently issued by these two bank officials to foreign banks, allowing loans to Nirav Modi. Nirav Modi would avail these loans and, after defaulting on them, transfer the liability of repayment to these banks. Next, let's talk about the Satyam scam. Satyam Computers was one of India's biggest and fastest growing companies. It was founded in 1987 by Mr. Ramalingan Raju. Mr. Raju, over the course of several years, grossly overvalued assets and heavily inflated his income to meet public expectations. He created several fictitious bank accounts to claim non-existent interest revenue. He and his brother were also heavily involved in the forgery of fraudulent bank statements and customer invoices, all to inflate the income. The audit company in the case of Satyam scam was also held negligible and suitable action was taken against them. This case resulted in a loss of 7,800 crores. It is known as the Enron scam of India. Lastly, let's talk about DHFL. DHFL, or Dewan Housing Finance Corporation Limited, the non-banking finance company, mainly specializing in providing housing finance. The promoters of this company are the Vadavans. They are the perpetrators behind this fraud. The DHFL availed loan from a consortium of 17 banks led by Union Bank of India of an amount of 34,000 crore rupees. That is 1,700 crore vada paos. DHFL used this money. DHFL gave this money to companies which were directly or indirectly linked right back to the promoters themselves. Basically, they were siphoning off the money which was meant to be used for providing housing finance to millions of working class people right back to themselves. They were also involved in the creation of fictitious home loan accounts to take advantage of the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana benefits. These cases show just a few instances of the numerous methods used by these companies and individuals to carry out the scams. The real victims of these scams are not isolated individuals or groups of individuals. The true victims of this scam are the taxpayers of this country, whose hard-earned income is unfortunately having to be used in recuperating these losses instead of being used towards more productive reasons, such as development of the country or upliftment programs for the poor. These financial frauds are like a disease for the country. They pose an urgent and major threat to the health of the country, and constant frauds which may go undetected will cause the public to lose their trust in the nation and its economy. Although it is true that development in technology has led to an increase in the complexity of these frauds, it has also empowered the forensic auditor to carry out his duties more effectively and efficiently. Now there is no longer need to read through masses upon masses of documents. With the help of technology such as optical character recognition or OCR, a forensic auditor can search for keywords or information at speeds that were never possible before. I'll conclude by saying that this is why in today's day and age, there's a need for specialized and experienced forensic auditors who are competent and have knowledge relating to the various areas of the industry. With new areas emerging every day, such as cybercrimes, cryptocurrency, etc., there's a dire need for forensic auditors who are well versed in legal statutes and capable of sorting through masses of documents to uncover the truth and hold these criminals accountable for their actions and ensure trust and confidence in the country. Thank you. If there's any questions, I'll take them now. Thank you.
We now introduce our second presenter, Mr. Rutvik Kitur. He is a CA finance student and is currently pursuing his articleship from MP Chitle and Company. He was in NCC as a wing of the prestigious Indian Air Force. He also have had the opportunity to fly an airplane. So let's welcome him to present his research paper on the topic, Are Chartered Accountants suited for forensic audit?
Good morning, everyone. Actually, I use the word good morning because I know it's good afternoon, but आपके एनर्जी से समझ नहीं आ रहा है, तो good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. So बहुत लोग पुणे के बाहर से है. Pune is like the karma bhumi. So I would start my speech by saying 2 lines about Pune की अजनबी रास्तों को अपने होते हुए देखा है. मैंने पुणे की रातों में सपनों को जागते हुए देखा है. और ये जो रह गए बातें सीखने घर वालों से, ए पुणे, वो तेरे परवरिश ने सिखाई है. Good afternoon to everyone present here, respected delegates, jury, members, all my dear friends. I, Rutvik Kitur, stand before you to present my paper on the topic, RCAs suited to do forensic audit. आपने बहुत बार सुना होगा कि forensic auditor को बहुत trust issues रहते हैं, and it's like he needs 10 supporting documents for a document and everything. You know this, but you don't know the reason behind it. On a lighter note, there are 2 lines about this कि सत्य सम माना जिसको, like जिसको सत्य के समान माना था, सत्य सम माना जिसको विश्वास अविरत किया था, बदले में फूलों के कांटा मैंने पाया था, वही वो दौर था अविश्वास का जिसने मुझे ऑडिटर बनाया था. So this is the reason कि forensic auditor does not trust easily. So when we hear I know this session is delayed because of some reason, and you all are waiting for lunch. This presentation I have made use of many memes. Since panel session chairman and jury is also young by heart, I guess they can relate to it. So let's start. What is forensic audit? So when we hear the term forensic, a person comes to our mind. That is Dr. Salunke. How many of you watched CID? Yeah. So what does Dr. Salunke does? He collects evidence which can be used in court of law. He collects evidence which can be used in court of law to use it against those who have committed crimes, and in turn helps CID solve the cases. So what is forensic audit? Formal definition of forensic audit is, a forensic audit is an analysis and review of the financial records of the company or a person to extract facts which can be used in court of law. Forensic audit is amalgamation of accounting, auditing, and investigative skills to withstand legal scrutiny and administrative proceedings against people who have committed crime. So I'll not get into the details of what is forensic audit and everything, because speaker prior to me has explained it very well. I'll stick to my topic ki why CAs are suitable, or are CAs suitable to do forensic audit. So characteristics of forensic auditor, characteristics of forensic accountants. He should be ethical. When the task is nabbing or capturing those who have committed crimes, a strict code of moral is essential. Like when there is a quote ki when we point finger at someone, we should remember ki 4 fingers are already pointing towards us. So to nab an unethical person, first it is required that we should be ethical. So the members of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, whether in practice or in service, are required to comply with code of ethics. So CA can perfectly fit into this criteria. Next one is analytical skills. You recognize this person? Sherlock Holmes. So forensic accountant needs to be analytical. As they review financial reports, source documents, they need to analyze the validity of transaction and determine if the company has recorded the transaction fairly. Essentially, being analytical means you're good at breaking down the problems into small parts in order to easily find a solution. So how do we people study for exams? We break subject into chapters and chapters into small topics, and then we study, right? So a chartered accountant develops the skills of analytical skills from his student phase itself. So he fits into this criteria perfectly. Detail oriented. It's all about details. Reviewing financial reports and supporting document requires looking at large quantities of numbers. The forensic accountant needs to compare amounts in supporting documents and note if there are any inconsistencies. He needs to find the trends in the data and arrive at a conclusion. This requires seeking out detailed information of each transaction. How many of you have done finalization with your boss? Please raise your hand. Yeah, quite a good number. You might have observed how your boss at the stage of finalization sees each and every amount in detail. That is because there is a skill in a CA, like he sees everything in detail. If required, your boss also sees individual vouchers by himself to focus on details. Next skill is inquisitive. It is gaining the necessary information to investigate the financial reports comes from asking questions. A CA during his journey from articleship meets many new people and has plethora of opportunities to ask questions, maybe to understand the client's business or to solve a query which has arrived during audit, and so on. So if you can't stand to leave a good puzzle unsolved and find yourself pondering why this is and how this is, voila, you have arrived into your dream job of forensic audit. How many of you have the habit of seeing your audit fees once you receive financials from your client? Yeah, we all do that. So this is inquisitive skills की देखते हैं firm कितना कमा रहा है. Next, persistence. Since fraud committed nowadays are complex and deeply rooted, it is not possible that you will get evidence in just 2 minutes. We need to put our efforts persistently. So we need to be persistent. You might have all heard this quote during your student life ki, where there is a will, there is a way. After every November, there is a May. So you need to persistently put your efforts. Insightful. Being able to pick up key details and make intelligent observation that may go otherwise unlooked is a clear quality that is important for forensic auditor. Skeptical. ये तो बहुत बार सुना होगा ना ऑडिट पढ़ते वक्त प्रोफेशनल स्केप्टिसिज्म दिस इज इट कि द रोल ऑफ इन्वेस्टिगेटिव अकाउंटेंट इज one that personifies skeptical attitude, one that refuses to take anything at face value. If there is a hard evidence to back up a theory, then it is solved, or else it remains a theory. Skills of forensic accountant. Critical or strategic thinking. What can be a best example than professor in the money heist for strategic thinking? A forensic accountant should be able to constantly think strategically. In order to be a step ahead of those who have committed crimes, we need to strategically think. Identify key issues. In the volume of data we get, we need to have the skill to identify what are the key issues in it. Auditing skills. A forensic accountant must understand the principles of audit well to carry out forensic audit. Audit तो हमारा ऐसा favorite खून में है ना टिक्का मारना like taking a green pen and मारो टिक्के. So auditing is not just green pens and tikkas, it's more than that. It's looking at the transactions deeply, having a 360-degree view. Positive criminal mind. Like think like a wrongdoer. They say ना चोर को पकड़ने के लिए चोर की तरह सोचना पड़ता है. You might have all seen this Family Man scene कि Manoj Bajpayee there knows in which direction the chore will run. So he easily boarded the scooty of the lady and drove towards that direction. So this is कि first you need to think what criminal does. That will be easy for your forensic audit. That will be helpful in your audit. Effective written communication. In addition to being able to communicate effectively, it's crucial for forensic auditors to communicate through writing. Because at the end of the day, in most cases, your observation will go in form of report. So if you're good in writing, your report becomes polished. Or else you have done audit very nicely, it will not be reflected in your report. Effective oral communication. A forensic auditors need to be orally good. That's because when there may be instances where you are called in the court to explain technicalities to the judge sitting over there. Judge doesn't know what is this and what is that. So you should be able to explain him in simple terms. What is this and what is that. So oral communication should be good of chartered accountants. So like sir said before me, number of registrations we had received from this conference and number of people who had given their application for paper presentation was very low. So this shows somewhere that CAs are lacking in oral communication. I wish कि every time in the next conference this gets improved. Additional skills that CAs possess which make them suitable to conduct forensic audit. Understanding the accounting intricacies which form a critical part of financial statement misrepresentation linked fraud. As previous speaker has explained, many frauds like Satyam, PNB, these are all financial statement misrepresentations. So if forensic auditor is a CA, he can very easily find this out because he has that skill. Understand of cash flow movements in a business to detect potential siphoning of funds. deep understanding of regulatory regime to unearth false payment schemes, stock accounting knowledge to detect inventory-related frauds. So to conclude, CAs can pursue additional courses which will give them an extra edge in competition of forensic accountants, like certified fraud examiner, certified course on forensic accounting and fraud detection, which is organized by our own ICI, certified professional forensic accountant. So yes, in my conclusion, I would like to say that yes, CAs are suited to do forensic audits, provided they possess skills and characteristics mentioned in these all previous slides. Our course teaches these all skills and characteristics, but this doesn't mean every person who has qualified as CA has these skills, because they may be expert in another other fields like taxation, indirect taxation, and etc. And a non-CA investigator may also be skilled enough. ऐसे नहीं कि हमने ठेका लेके रखा है. So they may be skilled enough to carry forensic audit, but the basic concepts ingrained in CAs, right in these 3 years of articleship and your classes all, develops us and teaches us that we gain a lot of we gain a lot of knowledge which will definitely help us and give us edge in the competition of us becoming as forensic accountants. At the end, I want to say ki, thank you for patiently listening. Thank you. I am Rutvik Kittur, signing off from the topic. Thank you.
I would now like to call upon Mr. Ayush Gupta, our third paper presenter. He is a CA finalist and is pursuing his articleship from Grant Thornton Bharat LLP. He is also working on to mentor and help CA students through a platform named as Ants Club, started in January 2022. He has a community which has now grown to more than 800 members. We would now like to ask him to present his research paper on technology and forensic audit.
Namaskara, Pune. My name is Ayush Gupta, and I am pursuing my articleship in Grant Thornton Bharat LLP in the forensics advisory domain since last 4 to 5 months. Being working in forensics since a short period of span of time, I have worked over various forensic investigation assignments, basically fraud investigation assignments. And also when I came to know about this topic at the conference, technology and forensic audit, I did a lot of research on how the future of forensic will be. Before joining this particular field of forensic, I also analyzed that whether this is a field to go for or not in my articleship, right? Because that was a very crucial decision of my life. Before being in forensic audit, I was working in the statutory audit profile since 4 months in one of the top 20 firms. But because I didn't find my passion in statutory audit, I changed to a field of forensic audit. And I do not regret that decision right now. Auditor is a watchdog and not a bloodhound. You must have heard this quote very oftenly. Auditor, who is a statutory auditor, financial auditor basically, limits himself to the financial audit of the financial statement and do not dig inside the financials or in the processes of the company. But when it comes to a forensic auditor, he analyzes all the processes and where the loopholes will be in the process of the company, internal process, SOPs or other processes of inside the company. For example, a production process, sales process, and find the loopholes that can be used by the internal management or the employees of the company to conduct internal frauds, right? How forensics is in today's world, as Ritvik already explained, it is not about Dr. Saluke and collecting evidences. It is about financial fraud. And financial fraud, basically being CA, we work on financial frauds and not basically work in labs like Dr. Saluke used to be. Let me explain this with an example or a case study that I worked upon recently, right? I was working on an assignment where an employee of the company who was one of the top management, and he basically onboarded some of the vendors who were supplying raw material to the company. and those vendors were directly related, was his relative or one of their friends, right? He routed the money from, basically bought the raw materials at inflated prices, routed that money to produce a movie that was starred by his son, right? So it was the movie scam, I said. Like the money from the company he was working on, he routed that money through the customers and funded his movie of his own son, right? That was a Tamil movie, by the way, not very famous. Let us understand in detail the fraud investigation process, how we go through to investigate and what are the methods that we use to investigate a fraud. We conduct detailed interviews of the suspects whom we doubt to have, who have conducted the fraud. You must be thinking upon that where we come to know about that a fraud is conducted by any employee of the company, internal fraud. Basically, we receive whistleblower complaints from the people who are working in the company. There can be someone who is at the lower management or who is working with the person who is suspected to do a fraud, who have seen him or caught him, have some evidence against him that he has exploited the internal controls to do some kind of fraud. We conduct detailed interviews of the person who is suspected, ask him questions, and try to get the truth out of his mind and prove him guilty. We gather information from trustworthy sources, that can be the other colleagues who is working with that particular employee in the firm, in the company, and gather trustworthy information. Also, we use the information from his devices that were used by him. For example, his laptop, official laptop that is given to a person. We analyze his emails, his chats on the Teams maybe, and other documents that are present inside his laptop, right? If we suspect something against him. We analyze the evidences gathered from his assets that can be his personal asset also if we doubt him, right? We conduct surveillance over the other employees also who are working inside the company that can be suspected, right? It is not possible for an individual to conduct the whole fraud. If I say the movie scam, that was a fraud of around 8 to 10 crores that were conducted by a single individual. But it is very difficult that a single person may be involved in this. There is a possibility that there are other employees of the company who are also involved in this particular fraud. So we conduct detailed surveillance, and also sometimes we go undercover, like he used to say, ab underground hone ka samay aa gaya hai. We also tend to go undercover, and basically we can get inside a company for some period of time, maybe as a fake employee, and we also see whether there are any other people who are involved or any loopholes are being exploited. This is about the present of what we say, blockchain, of forensics. Can anyone make a guess what's the future of the finance industry? Anyone? Yes, correct. It's blockchain. The finance is going on blockchain, and the technology is the future. We all are aware that 10 to 15 years from down the line, the blockchain technology will be introduced in the finance industry, and maybe all the financial transactions will take place through blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Forensics in the tech world, let's discuss about that. It will be on blockchain, and discussing some of the blockchain features that blockchain comes with. First of all, it's decentralization. Today, the finance is controlled by central banks or commercial banks, right? And they are totally in the hands of the commercial banks or central bank, maybe RBI, that can inflate or deflate a price of a currency. But in case of cryptocurrencies, it is totally decentralized, and no one has the power to control. One of the demerit is it is trustless, because there are a lot of fake cryptocurrency exchanges that are running on the dark web that can also be harmful for a person who is not aware about the same. The blockchain is transparent. We can see on internet exactly what are the people who are making transactions and what is the amount of transactions that are made in a blockchain. It is censorship resistant. It cannot be censored by any particular government. It can be positive and negative also at the same time, but it cannot be controlled like any individual or any institution. It is programmable. We can add new features in a blockchain through programming because it is totally technological and by engineers who have knowledge about programming, then they can change it as per their convenience. It is permissionless. We do not need permission from any particular person to make a transaction. For example, you must have incurred sometimes problem in making UPI transactions saying the servers are down as or not, sorry, we cannot make a transaction. But in a blockchain, you will not face this particular situation. Let's understand some examples through which a blockchain technology may be used to conduct frauds. The number one is the money laundering. It becomes very easy to conduct frauds like money laundering through the blockchain. And because it is very difficult to track who has made transactions with whom and by the government or any other person and what are the purpose of making that transaction. So it becomes a very suitable place to to carry on money laundering. Cryptojacking is basically using the devices of another person to mine cryptos on using their devices. It is basically someone is using your device to earn money, right? That is called cryptojacking. Someone has hijacked your personal device and they are mining cryptos on that. Ponzi scheme, you must have heard about the pyramid scheme or the multi-level marketing scheme. This is very similar to that, but in the world of blockchain. That a reward system is given on the basis of the people you are selling that crypto to. And pump and dump scheme at the end. You must have heard about Dogecoin that Elon Musk used to pump it to heights and then it dumped. And some of the people who are controlling that, they earned a lot of money through it. Can anyone make a guess that how many chartered accountants are there in India right now? Huh? It's exactly 351,232 chartered accountants in India, right? You must be wondering, like, it's not a that huge number, but theek hai. And most of the chartered accountants go for statutory audit or taxation as their career option. In articleship, we say they are very less than 0.1% of the people who chose forensic for the articleship. And this number is very less. Keeping in mind the scope of forensics in future, it is a very favorable career option that you may also choose for your articleship or career in future, right? What are the skills that you need to be in forensic investigator or forensic auditor? It is the investigative mentality that you need. You need to think upon, like in statutory audit, that my personal experience was that we were repeating the same processes on every company. But that was not in the case of forensic audit. It was totally different on every assignment. We used our investigative mentality and analyze the data. We look for indication from outside the financial aspect also. We do not see only the financial statements because those statements do not predict the 100% exact situation of the company. We also see what are the SOPs, what are the audit reports, what are the reports made by the internal auditors, and use that for the investigation purpose. We require more extensive collaboration. It is basically a teamwork because a single person cannot analyze the whole data because it's like in TBs, right? So we need to exactly coordinate with the whole team and work together to do that extensive investigation procedure. We focus more seemingly on immaterial transaction. In statutory audit, it is totally opposite. We use materiality concept and we see the transactions that are of very high level. But mostly the frauds are conducted at a very low level that cannot be caught by the other auditors like statutory auditors. So we focus seemingly on details and basically we need to think how a fraudster may be thinking. So that's the ability that you need to be a forensic auditor. That's all from me about this topic. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, and thanks to Vikasa for organizing this conference and giving me the opportunity to present. You can ask me any question if you have, and you can follow me on Instagram, or you can mail me the questions or ask me on LinkedIn. Thank you.
We now request our respected session chairman, CA Dr. Sanjeev Kumar Singhal sir, to give his views on the topic.
Namaskar. Very good afternoon to all of you. My two honorable Central Council colleagues, your own very own Chandrasekhar Chitleji, whose contribution in the council has been immense. We entered the council in the same year, and in last 3 years and 8 months or so, we have worked together on many aspects. He's a person with a vision, with clear thoughts, and handled all the responsibility that has been given to him in a very meaningful manner, including this conference. Organizing conference of 2,000 plus student is not easy, and that too on the eve of the Christmas and on the day of the Christmas. The chairman of the SSEB, सुशील गोयल जी, जो कि मेरे सीनियर हैं काउंसिल में, अगेन कोलकाता से आते हैं और बड़े क्लियर थॉट्स के साथ आते हैं. लास्ट ईयर हमने इनसे एक डिस्कशन किया था कि एक संडे की पाठशाला टाइप अगर हम शुरू करें, क्योंकि आप लोग डिफरेंट फर्म्स में डिफरेंट चीज़ें सीखते हैं. सो टू ब्रिज दैट गैप कैन वी हैव अ यूनिफॉर्म स्ट्रक्चर, एंड ही हैज़ इम्प्लीमेंटेड दैट, एंड टुडे 33 episodes or 33 practical workshops on different aspects have been organized, and which we are receiving a wonderful feedback. And I'm sure you would also be knowing now, Institute is organizing the coaching classes for all subjects, for all students, at free of cost. Friends, those who are sacrificing their lunch here and sitting here, in a CA exam, it's always said that it's the minority which wins. So I know the number inside the hall are in minority as compared to the number outside. But then it is the minority which wins. And let me tell you some of the opportunities which are coming before the profession, before I come to the topic. मैं सुबह चिटले जी से बात कर रहा था. In fact, that was a revelation for me also. Today, Pune is leading in the inbound work in the shared service center. और वो इतना मैसिव है. Yesterday I was talking to one of my partner in Mumbai. मुझे भी आइडिया नहीं था, और आज जब चिटले जी से बात की, WNS itself employs 25,000 people within Pune. 25,000 people within Pune. Even if I say that 10% of that can be chartered accountant, that works for 2,500 chartered accountant. And WNS is one. BP, Shell, and all others. Pune has a potential, and Pune is currently having more than 100,000 manpower in the shared service center. So even if we take it to 10%, there are sufficient opportunity for at least 10,000 chartered accountants within Pune in these shared service centers. And these are very big. Their global work happens here. और उसमें काम कौन लोग करते हैं? हम और आप जैसे लोग काम करते हैं. And the way it operates is normally the cost overseas is about $150 an hour. $150 an hour. और इंडिया में जो लोग काम करते हैं कॉस्टिंग पे, वो करीब $20 पे काम करते हैं. So which gives us a sufficient margin, because $20 का मतलब है 1,600 रुपये घंटा. आज हम अगर एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट की कॉस्ट अगर इंडिया में निकालते हैं तो 500-600 रुपीज़ पर आवर से ऊपर नहीं आती है. So this is one big area which you can focus on, and why I said it's the minority which always wins. My predecessor, speaker student, was talking about that most of the people go to the statutory audit. Statutory audit is the bread of our profession, but forensic audit provides the butter on that. आज अगर statutory audit में 1,000 rupees की फीस आप अर्न कर सकते हैं पर आवर, forensic audit is at least 3 times of the statutory audit. Why? Because it requires application of skills. It requires application of mind. Friends, let me let me talk about one more thing before I talk about the topic. I have an NGO called CA Parivar. Parivar is called a family. So if any of the student in Pune needs a financial support for doing CA, please do reach out to us. We are supporting 179 students as of now for doing CA, and the income criteria is less than 5 lakh rupees per annum for family income, and any chartered accountant can give the recommendation. We provide them full fee support. We provide them direct text coaching by Vinod Gupta ji. We provided them books, communication skills classes, and if they secure a rank, then we give them a laptop or an iPad up to 40,000 rupees. So 179 students we are sponsoring, and we have a hostel also, Super 30 hostel in Delhi, where as of now we have 9 students and we can go up to 30 students. So it's about 4 to 5 crore rupees of project which my NGO is running. If any student in Pune or elsewhere in India needs that financial support, please do reach out to Chandrasekhar Chitle ji or me, and we will do the needful. Friends, the topic for the day is Agnipath. And it was mentioned by the first speaker about Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He has a book called Wings of Fire. Wings of Fire, Hindi translation is Agni Pankh. And today auditors are facing that Agnipath, and they are expected to have Agni Pankh. कि कुछ भी आ जाए वो उड़ते रहें. Because आज हर एक regulator की expectation है कि what was the auditor doing? कुछ भी हो जाए तो what was the auditor doing? तो ये जो एक कोट किया गया, ऑडिटर्स आर अ वॉच डॉग नॉट अ ब्लड हाउंड, अब वो फिनोमिना भी चेंज हो रहा है. वी नीड टू बी एटलीस्ट अ बार्किंग डॉग, इफ नॉट अ वॉच डॉग, बिकॉज द सोसाइटी एक्सपेक्टेशन आर चेंजिंग. मुझे याद है प्रधानमंत्री जी की एक स्पीच, जो कि जब वो गुजरात के मुख्यमंत्री थे तो उन्होंने WIRC रीजन में ही एक स्पीच दी थी. उन्होंने कहा था कि आज सोल्जर्स की रिस्पेक्ट क्यों की जाती है? क्योंकि वो देश की रक्षा करते हैं. आज डॉक्टर्स की रक्षा रिस्पेक्ट क्यों की जाती है, एंड पर्टिकुलरली कोविड के बाद? क्योंकि वो हमारी हेल्थ की रक्षा करते हैं. तो उन्होंने क्वेश्चन किया कि आज चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स की रिस्पेक्ट किस चीज के लिए की जानी चाहिए? अगर हम ये इंट्रोस्पेक्शन कर सकें, एंड इफ वी कैन मीट दोज एक्सपेक्टेशंस, देन देयर इज नो रीजन why we will not be counted among soldiers and the doctors. We need to do an introspection that what we are doing. अगर हम एक ऑडिट कर रहे हैं तो ऑडिट में भी सैम्पलिंग हमने ईमानदारी से की क्या हमने रैंडम सैम्पलिंग लगाई या जजमेंटल सैम्पलिंग लगाई? अरे इसमें तो ज़्यादा नेक्चर्स नहीं है, इसको लगा देते हैं, इस वाउचर को कर देते हैं. नो. एंड टाइम हैज़ कम नाउ. इनफैक्ट इन द न्यू कारो रिपोर्ट we have seen now 50 clauses, sub clauses are there. Similarly, very soon it is expected that at least in the top few hundred companies audit, a statutory auditor will be expected to have a forensic team as a part of the statutory audit. Because the stakes are high. और forensic में जैसा कि मेरे दोस्त ने बताया कि कई बार माइनर चीज़ों से क्लू निकलते हैं. आई वर्क फॉर 15 years इन इंडस्ट्री, और मुझे ये एक मैं आपको बताऊं आयुष, कभी भी अपने क्लाइंट के बारे में नहीं बोला जाता, तो अपने क्लाइंट के बारे में हिंट भी कभी नहीं दिया जाता. इन वन ऑफ द कंपनी दैट आई वाज वर्किंग, वहाँ पर क्या था कि सॉल्वेंट, जो कि स्पेंट सॉल्वेंट है, वो एज अ स्क्रैप बेचा जाता था. तो एक टैंकर के 4 चैम्बर्स थे, तो 3 चैम्बर में स्पेंट सॉल्वेंट निकलता था और एक में फ्रेश सॉल्वेंट निकल के स्क्रैप के नाम पे भेज दिया जाता था. बिकॉज फ्रॉडस्टर्स आर मच, लॉ ब्रेकर्स आर मच अहेड ऑफ लॉ मेकर्स. इसी तरह से जब हम आर्टिकलशिप कर रहे थे, तो जब स्टॉक टेकिंग पे गए तो वहाँ पे ऑयल के टैंक्स थे, एक के ऊपर एक 4 टैंक्स थे. तो आपने ऊपर का स्टॉक टेक किया और बीच में उन्होंने एक आउटलेट बनाया हुआ था कि ऊपर के टैंक का जो लिक्विड है वो नीचे के टैंक में आ जाएगा जब तक आप वहाँ जाएंगे स्टॉक टेकिंग के लिए. सो दिस वे दिस स्टॉक वॉज बीइंग इन्फ्लेटेड. सो छोटी छोटी चीज़ों से, एक कंपनी थी जिसमें ROC की जो 500 रुपये की फीस होती है, वहाँ के कंपनी सेक्रेटरी ने वो 500 रुपये के चलान से 35 लाख रुपए का फ्रॉड किया, जो कि कोई सोचेगा भी नहीं कि 500 रुपये में आदमी क्या फ्रॉड करेगा. तो यू नीड टू हैव अ नैक फॉर डिटेल्स, यू नीड टू हैव अ आई फॉर डिटेल, और उस डिटेल पे अटेंशन कैच कराना भी बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. और मैंने यहाँ की ये CA स्टूडेंट कॉन्फ्रेंस में इस सेशन में देखा कि जो स्लाइड प्रेजेंटेशन थी वो बहुत अच्छी थी. देखिए, जो टाटा सन्स के N. चंद्रा है, एक बार मैंने उनको सुना था अपनी पार्टनर्स मीट में, उन्होंने कहा ही फॉलोज अ रूल ऑफ 5x5x5. 5 slides, not more than 5 lines in a slide and not more than 5 words in a slide. क्योंकि अगर आप अटेंशन कैच कराना चाहते हैं तो बड़े लिमिटेड वर्ड्स होने चाहिए, और ज़्यादातर लोगों ने पिक्चर्स का यूज़ किया विच कैचेस द अटेंशन, क्योंकि आज हमारा अटेंशन स्पैन जो है व्हाट्सएप और फेसबुक और इंस्टाग्राम के कारण बहुत कम है। मुझे लगता है 2-3 मिनट से ज़्यादा का हमारा अटेंशन स्पैन है नहीं किसी का। आप अगर स्पीकर नहीं है, खुद नहीं बोल रहे हैं, तो 2-3 मिनट के बाद चेक करने लग जाते हैं कोई व्हाट्सएप तो नहीं आया, और नहीं आए तो बेचैन भी हो जाते हैं कि यार ऐसा कैसे हो गया, कुछ आया नहीं अभी तक। तो जो स्लाइड्स, जो प्रेजेंटेशन थी, दैट वाज वेरी गुड। ऋत्विक ने जो बोला कि आर CAs suited to do forensic audit, no doubt about it. CAs are in a best position to do forensic audit, and at the same time we need multidisciplinary people. For example, कहीं आपको टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए कहीं इंजीनियर्स की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी, कहीं इन्वायरमेंटलिस्ट की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी, एंड जैसे आयुष ने कहा डिजिटल कैपेबिलिटीज़, ब्लॉकचेन। मैं तो कहता हूँ प्रॉबेबली हमारे इमीडिएट फ्यूचर में जो आपको सर्टिफिकेट्स भी दिए जाएंगे वो ब्लॉकचेन अनेबल्ड होंगे। 10 रुपया कॉस्ट आती है एक ब्लॉकचेन सर्टिफिकेट की, एंड दैट कैन बी वेरीफाइड अक्रॉस द ग्लोब। सो ब्लॉकचेन फ्यूचर नहीं है, ब्लॉकचेन प्रेजेंट है। इसी तरह से जो हमारी टेक्नोलॉजी है, जो हमारा डेटा एनालिटिक्स है, दैट हैज़ मेड थिंग्स सो सिंपल। फॉर एग्जाम्पल इंस्टीट्यूट में भी we are planning and we are working on giving the data analytical tool to all our members, and the cost has come down very significantly. Sample checks will be a thing of the past, and we'll be expected to do 100% check in some of the things. In the last council, the guide on digital assurance has been passed. It's been developed by our auditing standard board and the digital accounting and assurance standard board. तो अब आप देखेंगे उसमें कई हमने सोर्सेज, मे बी विद इन नेक्स्ट वीक वी विल रिलीज इट, उसमें हमने लिंकेज किया है कि कैसे आप एक्सटर्नल कन्फर्मेशन जो हैं डिजिटल टूल्स के थ्रू, या डिजिटल जो आपको बाकी जगह डेटा अवेलेबल है, GST पोर्टल पर है, EPFO पर अवेलेबल है, उनके थ्रू आप क्रॉस वेरिफिकेशन कर सकते हैं। और लैपटॉप और मोबाइल जो हैं आज के दिन सबसे ज़्यादा फ्रॉड कैचिंग का जो अटेंशन है वो लैपटॉप और मोबाइल पर होता है। वो जिसको कहते हैं ना तोते की जान किस में है, तो आजकल हम सबकी जान लैपटॉप और मोबाइल में होती है। सारा डेटा हमारा जो होता है वो लैपटॉप और मोबाइल में होता है, और हम इसको इरेज भी करना चाहें तो इरेज नहीं होता है। आप रिसाइकिल बिन से, इवन इफ यू डिलीट फ्रॉम रिसाइकिल बिन, इट स्टेज देयर फॉर एवर एंड इट कैन बी कॉपीड। So that is becoming a very useful tool and a very, very risky proposition to keep your unwanted data in laptop and mobile. So friends, forensic is the future. An institute has developed 19 forensic audit standards, which is the first one in the world. Similarly, like Chitleji mentioned, we have come out with 16 social audit standards, again the first in the world. We have come out with an assurance standard on ESG, among the first in the world. So we should also think of being the best in the world. And for that, passion and wings of fire or Agni Pankh is required. Friends, all the best, and thank you very much for inviting me here.
For your insights on the topic, and we all really appreciate your initiative to help all the CA students through the CA Parivar NGO. Now, I would request respected CA Sachin Maniyar sir to kindly felicitate the session chairman.
We now invite Miss Samiksha, Mr. Omkar, and Miss Riddhi to felicitate the paper presenters. We invite CA Sachin Minyar, sir, to propose a vote of thanks. Sir, please.
Good afternoon, and thank you everyone. I know all of you are waiting for the lunch. I won't be taking much of your time in the vote of thanks. But yes, sir, on behalf of Pune Vikasa and all the participants over here, I am really grateful that you have traveled all the way from Delhi to Mumbai and then you have been over here in Pune. So we are thankful for that, and I congratulate all the speakers, all the paper presenters to be a part of this. See, this is a competition. Obviously, one would be selected, but since you have got chosen in top 3, all of you are winner, and it takes great courage to come and present the papers on the stage. So I congratulate all 3 as well, and I am thankful to all of you for a patient hearing. So we'll join back for the next session post lunch. Thank you.